Brag. The art of tooting your own horn without blowing it. Welcome to The Success Face. In today's video, we're excited to bring you a discussion on the topic of brag, featuring expert speaker Peggy Klaus. Brag can be a controversial topic, but it's also an important skill for leaders to master. Peggy Klaus is a highly sought-after executive coach, author, and keynote speaker, and she has a wealth of knowledge and experience on this topic. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn from one of the best as we dive into the world of brag. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the video. Your input matters. We would love to hear your thoughts on the video. Please leave a comment with your opinion. People are taught not to promote themselves from an early age. Today, if you want to succeed, you need to be willing to boast about yourself. You need to learn how to articulate your accomplishments if you want to be successful in business or almost any other area of life. Create a brief bragalogue about your accomplishments and yourself. Create brag bites, which are brief summaries of your most recent accomplishments. A great storyteller is a prerequisite for a great self-promoter. Always be ready to tell people about yourself in a fun way that will keep them interested in you. Great bragging does not appear to be bragging at all when handled with grace. The best self-promoters are adept at grabbing your attention quickly and converting you. As important as what you say is when and how you talk positively about yourself. You are doomed if your coworkers don't consider you a valuable asset. In the past, you could frequently spend decades or even your entire career at a single company. Companies and their employees are in constant change today. Changes like mergers, downsizing, and layoffs are almost constant. In such a volatile environment, how do you stand out? There is only one approach. Ensure that everyone at work is aware of your skills and accomplishments. And how do they acquire this essential knowledge? They will never know if you subscribe to the venerable performance myth that a job well done speaks for itself. Brag. To talk about your best self without being pretentious or obnoxious, with pride and passion in a conversational style designed to inspire admiration, interest, and wonder. Following a couple of different fantasies likewise will waste your time. Be humble to get noticed. Speak positively about yourself only during employment reviews. Allow others to speak positively about you, and, if you aren't getting your point across about how great an employee you are, quickly deliver a lot of personal plus points in rapid succession. The last legend, for ladies, is that gloating isn't elegant. None of these rumors are true. You need to start boasting about yourself. Although there are negative connotations associated with self-promotion, your job is to find subtle ways to do so. So, tell me a little about yourself. In business, you'll find yourself in situations where you have to quickly explain who you are and what makes you special. Sales calls, job interviews, association meetings, and performance evaluations are all examples of these. Are you prepared to provide a compelling self-explanation? Always have at your disposal the responses to these Take 12 Inches questions. Which 5 characteristics best describe you? Which 10 truly fascinating experiences from your own life can you relate to? What is your occupation, and how did you begin it? What aspect of your job do you enjoy most? How do you put your abilities to use on the job? What have been your greatest career accomplishments? What brand new abilities have you acquired recently? What have been the most difficult challenges you've faced at work? What brand new training or education have you received? Which groups have you joined? What do you do in your spare time? How are you improving the situation for other people? If you're an introvert, you won't be noticed. Interact with others and extend yourself beyond yourself. After giving these questions a lot of thought, make a list of possible responses and keep them in your memory. Your brag bag is here. Don't be afraid to ask other people for help with these crucial questions. Be sure to include colorful and humorous details in your bragging because effective bragging relies on them. Develop some useful brag bites and bragalogues in conjunction with your brag bag. Shape these mini stories in a way that makes them truly compelling, just like an experienced storyteller would. Bragging at work. Always be prepared to praise oneself at work. Consider these 4 fundamental facts each day. Who you are, what you do, where you work, and the great things you're doing for the company right now. This way, if you happen to bump into the CEO in the elevator, you can be honest with them about who you are if they ask. This will undoubtedly occur at some point. When you are in small meetings with people from different parts of the company, this information also comes in handy. Introduce yourself to them to help them get to know you better. Talk decidedly and fittingly. At a funeral or other solemn occasion, for instance, you shouldn't boast about yourself. Be sensitive to time and place at all times. You must become a virtual extrovert and master technology in today's wired world. Both the water cooler and the break room are good spots for useful networking and effective boasting. In such circumstances, the majority of people relax. Take advantage of coffee breaks to get to know your coworkers and, more importantly, to get to know them. Don't be afraid to go to social events. Be the first to introduce yourself. When you seek out senior executives at parties, you shouldn't be concerned about appearing to be kissing up. These events serve a single purpose: to socialize. Therefore, go out and begin networking. If influential members of your organization do not know who you are, you will never gain their trust. Introduce yourself at company social events to people who might be able to assist you later. Interesting. A lot of senior executives say that they are often left alone at social events because many employees are too scared to talk to them like a person would. Get over this. High-tech braggadocio. In today's world, business is conducted online. By email, phone, and video conferencing, you communicate with your supervisors, associates, clients, and customers frequently, or even primarily. In such circumstances, how do you keep them thinking positively about you? The response is easy. Quickly put some efficient high-tech methods of boasting to use. Great self-advancement is exceptionally individualized, and one-size-fits-all arrangements don't work. Take this instance. A financial analyst suddenly stops communicating frequently with his boss. The manager now has dozens more direct reports as a result of a merger. Subsequently, the examiner only sometimes gets any significant publicity with his boss. What should he do? Realizing that the manager depends on voice message, the examiner starts to telephone her office day to day to leave speedy, and thoroughly examined, refreshes on his work and progress. The analyst receives the attention he requires in this manner, but in the high-tech setting that his boss prefers. Always prepare what you intend to say in advance if you employ this strategy. What if you work from home and only occasionally meet in person with your coworkers and supervisor? Create additional methods, such as email, to keep in touch. But also try to make regular trips to the home office to stay in touch. Keep in mind the old saying, away from view and out of mind. Brag and get that job. During job interviews, your responses to the Take 12 inches inventory of questions will be useful. Concentrate on the unique qualities, skills, and experiences that set you apart from other candidates for a vacant position. If there are any holes or trouble spots on your resume, carefully plan honest, compelling responses that you can use to describe these zingers and possibly lessen their impact. You can bring your resume's information to life during a job interview. Boasting is a craftsmanship. Match your individual braglogs and brag bites to the information the interviewer is most likely interested in learning during the job interview. Learn as much as you can about the company, its products and services, and its corporate culture before the interview. Then, make a brag bag plan accordingly. Always be ready for this inescapable inquiry. Please describe your greatest flaw. Communicate your responsibility with grace and clarity. Sometimes, you can even turn a bad situation into a good one. Let's say you're introverted and shy. You can show this deficit by pointing out that you prefer to concentrate on your work rather than socialize when you are at the office. Although you are friendly, your primary focus is on producing outstanding work. This quality will not be negatively viewed by many potential employers. The work review. Are you prepared for the following performance evaluation? You will be if you have engaged in a planned bragging campaign throughout the year and kept your brag bag up to date. Write down your achievements on a regular basis in an outline format. During your review, you will benefit from this information. Participate actively. Do not permit your supervisor to speak alone. You can tell an excellent story by carefully polishing your braglog and brag bites. Naturally, this assumes that you will be completely prepared for the examination. Make sure you practice your braglog in front of a mirror so you can easily deliver it. Your exhibition survey presents the practically ideal chance for you to gloat decisively about your achievements. During your review, if your manager gives you a compliment, make sure to say thanks. Employees, and people in general, have a hard time accepting compliments and criticism all too frequently. So when your boss offers something pleasant about your work, recognize your achievement. Respect both it and you. What if you don't have a real job at the moment? The companies they work for and the positions they hold are often how people define themselves and their status. When you are temporarily unemployed, what should you say? Is this a sign that you are insignificant? No. Yet, still you should discover a workable method for remaining in the boasting circle, self-advancing at whatever point practical. Indeed, self-promotion is more important than ever if you are out of work. Always act as if things couldn't get any better, no matter what. When you wing it, you do succeed in communicating what you need to say very effectively 20% of the time. The remaining 80% of the time, you do not. Whatever your current activities are, find ways to describe them in a positive and engaging way. At most social events, the following is the most frequently asked question. What do you do then? Prepare for this inquiry. Use a brag bite that lasts for 30 seconds or a bragalogue that only takes 3 minutes to say. Make your circumstance sound excellent. It only requires some planning. You want to imitate a stand-up comedian's timing and delivery, but without the funny lines. On the other hand, if you can make people laugh when you talk about yourself, make sure to do so. A little humor is the best way to get people talking. Self-employed? Then you ought to boast. Do you run your own business? If so, you are your own company. Make sure people think highly of you because it directly affects how much money you make. Use self-promotion strategically. You can't sell your business if you can't sell yourself, no matter where you work. The next person you meet might be a potential customer, an investor, or a journalist looking for a story about the next great entrepreneur. You prepare to share your own personal story. Create a collection of braglogs and brag bites so that you always have a few good ones ready for when you introduce yourself to a new person. Check to see if you are providing blabalogs. Be prepared to respond to the following inquiries when you are asked to introduce yourself and your product or service. Who are you and what are your previous jobs? How will a customer benefit from your product or service? Is it affordable, deluxe, or complicated to use? Good self-promotion centers on conveying authenticity. Keep these essential advice for brags in mind if you want to become a truly creative self-promoter. Be bona fide, brief and, when proper, entertaining. Keep in mind to whom you are speaking at all times. Talk to people rather than at them. At the right times, promote yourself by telling stories that are both entertaining and important. Make sure you can walk the walk if you talk the talk. Make big talk out of small talk. Bargain just in current bragalogs and gloat nibbles. Be ready to talk about yourself at any time and in any setting. Include everything you have, your head, heart, expression, and eyes, in your narratives about yourself. Knowing when and how to toot your own horn is the art of tooting your own horn. Additionally, pay close attention to these significant bragnags at all times. Try not to exhaust. Keep your best self on display at all times, even in the most uncomfortable situations. Make an excellent first impression. Feel proud of who you are and what you've accomplished. Adapt your braglog or brag bites to the audience you're speaking to. Most importantly, remember the most important rule of self-promotion always: in the event that you don't rub elbows, you lose. What if your boasting is ineffective? The majority of people do not naturally bristle, so when you begin your strategic bragging campaign, be prepared for some trial and error. Trust your instincts and reevaluate if your self-promotion appears to be having a negative impact on others. Examine your boasts and monologues with care. Are they significant to other people? Are they delivered in the appropriate setting? Do they fall within the normal scope of conversation? Is your voice clear? Does it have style as well as substance? Are you enhancing your image at the right moment? It takes time to become an effective bragmaster. Practice, practice, and more practice. At some point, you will be able to boast about yourself without others knowing what you are doing. After that, you will fully establish your well-deserved right to boast. Thank you for watching our video on the importance of brag and how it can benefit your career. We hope that you found the insights and tips shared by Peggy Klaus to be helpful and inspiring. Remember, brag is not about boasting or showing off, it's about confidently and respectfully sharing your achievements and contributions with others. As the Success Face, we encourage you to take pride in your accomplishments and use brag to advance your career and make a positive impact in the world. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to sharing more valuable content with you in the future. Your feedback is important to us. If you have any thoughts or opinions on the video, we would love to hear them in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Share it with your friends and loved ones. We send you thousands of blessings, much success, and much happiness for you and your entire family.